Okay. Excel is a 35-year-old technology that has cost billions of dollars in losses to companies. The most recent one, or the largest one, was the $8.6 billion lost by JP Morgan Chase of investors' funds when they had to report it to the SEC. It was a small 124-page report. 5 paragraphs were dedicated to Excel errors. One error alone lost over $480 million of the investor funds. Firebird, the design of Firebird was taken to the Spreadsheet Research Institute when we were starting out. And according to the director there, Firebird will eliminate 80% of the error rate that is caused in the standard Excel. Once again, remember that maybe you all have heard it and you've all had the problems, but the 4 organizations, 3 accounting firms, and Dartmouth University have all stated that there is at least a 91% probability in any major corporate spreadsheet of a significant error. Part of it is, have you ever tried to trace an error in an Excel model? Next to impossible. Normally, if you're a new guy in the organization and you get the old Excel model, you're going to look at it, you can't trace it because every cell is a formula. Every cell is a formula or data. Firebird, we're taking a different approach. We are going by rows, not by cells. We believe and we'll go into that in a moment, but the main thing here we're talking about is that there are over 6 million Excel power users, according to Microsoft, in the United States. That's a portion of the 750 million worldwide users of Excel. Most of them will all know the shortcomings of Excel. Knowing those shortcomings, there's many articles have been written, particularly in the Wall Street Journal, where the management wants an alternative to Excel. You need something that you can work on the spreadsheet. Our biggest thing to overcome, of course, is the reluctance of the Excel power user to use something else. He is embedded in that. He knows how to use it. It is our attempt to persuade him that there is a better alternative. Next. We do it by being we're a very simple approach to this. We're doing everything row by row, not cell by cell. The only thing that's in a cell is data. Next number. This is just a quick sample of what a Firebird model. This is the model that you write. Once again, the model is separate. The data, the logic is separate from the data. That's very, very important. But if you look there on the line that's highlighted there, you'll see that a simple formula is a line by a line or a row by a row. That's it. The other data gives you more answer. You can do totally columns. The next one, please. The key, go and stay back one, please. If you notice that up in the 20,000 group, it says input. The key is you can never overwrite a formula in the model as you can in an Excel model, because input can only come on an input line. Okay, the next one. This is a sample of what an input looks like. It only shows you those lines where data can come in. In this case, the data is coming from the keyboard. You can bring the data from a SQL file, from other Excel files, if you would.
Nicholas, excuse me just a second. Somebody's got a lot of background noise. They're on a phone call or something, and we can really hear it. Why don't you, everybody, just mute yourself so we don't get the background noise? And you can unmute when we get to questions.
Okay. I'll just yell louder, and then how's that? That helps. Okay, so basically what we're saying is that data, when you enter data, you cannot overwrite the formulas. Very important. Also, for security purposes, the logic is compiled. If anybody attempts to modify it, you will know it will. Their signature will be left. You will know that somebody tried to modify this. And this developed because I had a lovely lunch, or actually dinner, at Loyola Marymount with a gentleman who served 7 years in federal prison for cooking the books using Excel. He also sent me his Excel files to show me how he was able to cook the books. And he also stated that he could not have done it using Firebird. I showed him because we do have a prototype. Next. This is a sample of what an output would look. Simple, this is your screen output. And this looks very, very familiar to what you would see in Excel, because you know how we say, familiarity breeds, and this is, people want something that's familiar. It's a spreadsheet. This is a spreadsheet modeling system. The next. And if anybody wants to stop, just yell stop. I can hold it for a moment. But also we get to the point, this is actually, you can do standard printed report. The biggest difference you would see different from Excel is on the far left there, you'll see the line numbers. These are the row numbers. Okay. And now you get that in front of you. How did he calculate that? How did he do that? Next. Automatically built into the system, when the model comes up, you can give an English-like translation of the calculation. In this case, we're taking the unit sales of product A, which we give the line number, times the price per unit. That is automatic from the initial model. Anybody having a report can understand how a line was calculated. And you don't have to know anything about Firebird to do that. Very, very critical. Next. This one here describes where the data came from, what lines were being used by that formula. It also includes their description. So we know we're talking, that in this case, it's going to be referenced by the sales for product A. It's going to be referenced by the gross profit for unit A, and also for the total sales. We also know that it used the unit sales and the sales price to make that calculation. And this way, when you review a model, you can see the whole model at a time. So everything is there. Next then. I'm going quickly through. Now we have the team. We initially talked, Corolla, he has 4 startups under his companies that he built. Under him, he's managed. He does branding. He makes it look pretty. He is the one that he will design our user interface. And that's very critical for adoption. The other gentleman, Alexander Konovas, he has had 4 startups also, not 4 startups. He was called in to turn around a company. He has started a communications company and successfully, and several others. Myself, I have 3 startups under me, one with venture capital. But my prime area has been, I've had a software development firm, and I've also had a consulting firm, forecasting and financial planning. We have, as you say, we have invested over 100,000 in there. We do have several other gentlemen online to cut, not on the line here, but waiting to come on board. But we will have to have funds for them, and we'll show that. And one of the gentlemen is he does the optimization code for JPL, for the space launches. He makes the code run better, faster, and more secure. And the other one, the lead programmer, because we do need a software engineer on board, architect on board, and they will come once we are funded. Next. Of course, this is our competitive matrix. Our main competitor, of course, would be Excel, but more than that, it's going to be the inertia of bringing the Excel corporate power user to Firebird. We hope to use that through telling management about it, that it's secure, it's going to reduce the risk of losses that have occurred, and as such. Part of this is that we are a tamper-proof model. The marketing people can't change the numbers, the formulas on their own. I hate to say that, but and that we're, I'm reading it myself right now, but everything will be, it's auditable, meaning you can take this to another, your audit department. And just a quick side note, in Houston, Texas, Protiviti has a room of 40 analysts who do nothing but audit your corporate spreadsheet for the risk involved. That they're very risk. Okay, next then. Where it's going to be delivered in three portions. We have the professional, which does everything. You can create a model, and you can do all the analytics. You can do the what-ifing, the goal seeking, all the charting. Everything comes with the professional. The only difference between the professional and the essentials is you cannot create a model. You can use it, you can add data to it, you can do everything with it. The main thing there, this is more the essentials, is for the executive. You don't want him to screw in with the formulas. And then there's the free down, the viewer. The viewer is for anybody who needs to look at an Excel, at a Firebird model. It's free downloadable, and it's similar to the Adobe Reader. Once again, this will be a SaaS platform, so we can do the recurring revenue. Next. These are our financial projections. They are, in my opinion, from the financial background, conservative. Our initial growth will be from converting the beta testers to paid. Our target is to do the freemium approach and then convert that to the premium and get it out there. Part of the reason how we're able to keep the product out there and keep it going is that people will be using it. The next. Okay, our go-to-market strategy. The real basis of our strategy is to get the, we have contacts with 2 of the universities right now, hope to get to the other universities, but in their what they call our financial engineering MBA programs, bring the people on board there, have them do some of the beta testing, but also some of the training there, so that when they go back to their corporations, we have in-house champions at that point, but spreading it that way, where of course we'll be using the trade publications and the other other giveaways. We'll have a beta tester, and then after 3 to 6 months, convert it. But this is to get the training there, to get people involved in it, to get it. So this is how we hope to do our sustainable things, because it'll be everywhere. All right, next. Okay, just it's kind of a summary where we of course we have the team. We do have a proof of concept. We have a prototype that we can show. We also have the validation basically coming from the Spreadsheet Research Institute, the director there. He reviewed our specs and says, yes, this would reduce the error rate by over 80%. And the reason he does the studies of why there are so many errors in Excel models. We're trying to move forward. We're asking for a total of $1 million, but we're going to spend a different way. We're going to be solving basically what is a multi-billion-dollar problem. Most of the errors that have occurred, that have been publicized, would not have occurred using Firebird, because we're doing row by row, and it's not that accidentally changing a formula when you touch on a cell. Okay, next. All right, this is our use of funds. Initial use of funds is to get to our minimum viable product and also to secure our IP. But once again, our security really is going to become by getting out there and everybody's going to be using it. I mean, how secure is Excel itself? The process, the Excel has been duplicated in Google Sheets, and there's about 3 others that have been trying to duplicate it. Excel is still in there because everybody uses it. And then we're going to go, once we get through phase 1, we're going to do our full stack development. This is while we're in beta testing, and we'll be getting the feedback from closed beta. These are people that we know. We'll be contact them all the time as we go through the beta testing process. Then we go, and the phase 3 is refining it for market. Okay. Well, that's it. And once again, our real model there is to minimizing the risk and cost of spreadsheet-based modeling. And this is our charts. All right, any questions now?
I'd like to take off the screen share. So we can do a nice Zoom round of applause. Good job, Nicholas. It's a good presentation. Let's see, when we did introductions, Olav, is that you? We missed you. I think you froze up when you started to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Am I good? Zeta rolled through here about 2 weeks ago and knocked out our entire network, so it's kind of spotchy sometimes.
So go ahead, you get two sentences to tell us all about yourself.
Sure. People call me Crowbower. I've recently, 2 years ago, started a company that's involved with construction technology. We do job site transparency and data-driven decisions through IoT devices. Simple and easy.
And the Crow was actually set up to present this month. He was in the original announcement that went out to the Silicon Beach people, and he canceled out for a very wonderful reason. He got some funding.
Yeah, so basically we're self-funded. My partner and I put in about $250,000 to get us to launching and delivering products. We do IP cameras, GPS, track and trace, and a mobile app for tracking workers on the job site. And we were just doing a very small round at for 250,000, just to have some cash flow, 1 degree of separation. We closed that out in about 5 weeks, and we're looking to kind of ramp up and go for Series A here, probably next summer, early fall. So
let me know when we can help.
Oh, would love to. And I look forward to kind of joining in on the meetings and listening to other people's ideas and, contributing some of my thoughts as well.
See, one other footnote while I've got the microphone here. I neglected to tell you that meeting in December, if we do it on December 14th, will be the 37th annual Monday Club holiday luncheon or meeting or gathering, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so back to Nicholas. Questions for Nicholas?
Hi, this is David. Nicholas, fine presentation. How does it scale up in terms of going to more complex formulas in calculations?
We have some 87 built-in formulas in there, such as discounted cash flow rate of return. They're all the financial formulas necessary are built in. This is there, so we do have them in there. Just as you saw when we said math and we multiplied, we could do free-form algebra, or if you're going to be summing a line, or if you're going to do an average, or if you're going to do that type of thing within the model itself, within the formula. However, when you want to do your projections and your what-ifing and your goal seeking, you can take, if you have 4 months of data and you can project the rest of the year, you can use the standard regression analysis. Anyway, you can do, there's all sorts of functions at that point. Am I answering that question?
Yes. And one other quick question is, you're talking about a major change in user and decision maker behavior, what are you looking at in terms of customer acquisition costs?
Right now, our focus is to get a cadre of users there, and that is from the financial, from the those doing financial projections now, models. Initially, it will be the word of mouth coming out of the universities. We will be making presentations there and possibly having classes in that. Acquisition cost per individual, that I don't have a figure on. Honestly, to be honest, it's going to be getting the word out there that that we're there. We have, as we advance and as the funds are available, we will add more people to doing that.
Other questions?
Pardon?
Other questions?
Hi, Ed Snyder. A little curious. I'm not 100% sure I followed everything in the sense that you're a totally separate from ground up spreadsheet that you've built yourself.
Correct.
Okay.
A platform, yes.
Well, kind of two things. One is obviously Microsoft is a not very good user of spreadsheets. I have been using them for 20 years in my startups. Did you think about working to make yours kind of an add-on to Microsoft as opposed to trying to go after people and make them change? In other words, when you say you're a service, you're really going to sell software as a service, meaning
Correct.
I have to change my software, right? I have to go to your software to do this.
Yes, you would do that. We will be able to, if you have to have an Excel spreadsheet, we will be able to export an Excel spreadsheet. All right.
Oh, so in other words, what you're saying is you got all the features of your product and you can export it to me as a spreadsheet that I'm used to using?
Correct.
Excel? Okay. I don't think you made that. Maybe I missed it, but why? In years past, a lot of people got started with things like security and so forth around Microsoft by making it an add-on that's compatible with rather than a replacement for. I mean, have you thought about partnering with Microsoft, or is that, dude, what's your thought on that?
You want to hear a wonderful story?
I tried that in a past life. Okay. It's very difficult even today.
Yeah, no. I got the regional marketing guy for Microsoft Enterprise. I brought it before him, Scott, and we went over it. And he said, God, I wish I had this because it would build Microsoft. He could sell better into the enterprise market, the Microsoft products.
Okay.
Because he's competing with everybody else at that point. And so we started up the line. And he would talk to the next one. We went up there. Then finally, I got to which would be their group that does development and look at new areas. And so I made a wonderful presentation at the time of our prototype. Until at the end, I found out I was presenting it on a cell phone and a taxi in Bangladesh, and it just didn't come across as well as such.
When they said no, how did they say? I'm just curious. The reason I'm suggesting this is it seems to me that if you're able to export it, like you said, back to me as an Excel spreadsheet, and it has all the features, it really is a tremendous value add to Excel, right?
To the Excel power user, yes, Microsoft would be a wonderful partner in this whole process. But how do you talk to Microsoft?
Yeah, Nicholas, let me take a shot at helping you out here, and tell me if I'm wrong. But I think part of the answer to Ed's question lies in the fundamental thing that you're doing right now in Excel. A cell can be a piece of data or it can be a formula, and you're pulling that apart. You're pulling the formula out of the cell and making formulas only operate on rows. So it's this row times that row, or this row plus that row. So you end up with a program over here, which is a bunch of row by row operations. And then you have cells, which are just data, but no formulas embedded within the cells. I mean, it really is a cleaner way to think about it, I think. But if you think about it that way, it's not clear to me that Microsoft would be interested in that. I mean, it kind of trashes their whole approach to it.
Well, I was at a presentation where was it Ballmer? I forget who was the president at the time, and he apologized for Excel because it was being used for things it should not be used for. And a lot of that was for the modeling, for the projections, for carrying down, and too much was dependent on it. A lot of the cell by cell, if you can go back to the original Lotus 1, 2, 3, within their when you got the package, there was a disclaimer not to use the numbers for anything serious, that they would not be responsible. And the key is that and if you go back through all the problems there with Excel, you've had a time where if your answer became 68,000 something, it automatically says it was 100,000. Those are some.
Maybe I'll just shift my comment to say that if you can get a great big number of power users of Excel to switch over, I guess you answer my question. Because I guess when you're going up against somebody like Microsoft, I think it becomes a tremendous go-to-market issue from my experience. I mean, I was in I had a company that was doing network management, and then I got acquired by a very strong network management company. And then we went to Microsoft to try to partner, and we absolutely got nowhere because they were Microsoft at the time. This was probably 20 years ago. Now they're selling software as a service like you're talking about. And again, if you can somehow, I think, position it so that it's a value add, even though I understand what you're doing, it just seems like it could get into the market a little bit quicker. I absolutely understand what you're saying, because I was always using it for financial spreadsheets. And as a startup, you can probably get away with anything up to the point where you get audited.
Yes.
And you need to get audited usually to get a Series A or a Series B, or to get an acquisition. So we were able to use it over the years without having a problem, even through the audits we survived. That is Excel. Almost everything we did was always Excel based. I guess there's not a problem then.
I think our main statement, it would have been a lot easier for you to do it in Firebird at the time.
Oh yeah,
if it was
you
there.
didn't have Firebird then.
And it would be auditable.
Yeah.
Very, very, very quickly. You wouldn't have to spend all that money on the risk management, and that it's the approach that is designed for the forecasting, where the columns equal time periods. How are you going to project that out? And to do those projections, we have multiple functions for projecting data out. Once you have the data there, once you have actual data, and projecting against the other data, and it's all built in, but it's a spreadsheet concept. We even have the concept where you can take your spreadsheet, you can do your modeling for different scenarios, and you can lay the scenarios on top of each other, and only the differences will pop through for the whole model, not just for that one line. So you can see what happens. All of a sudden you realize that you have to go after more funds, or you don't have the factory capacity to build that product at that for that month.
Cool.
All that's built in. It's what true financial analysis for a corporation should be done. All the tools are there. They're built in. That's the key. A lot of it, you built your Excel models, and if you want to do an annual total, you know the annual total is a totally separate model from the beginning, from all the everything in that row. Well, you don't have to worry about that in Firebird. You push a button, I want quarterly totals, I want annual totals. And for that same report, it'll just reformat it for that automatically. And the formulas are correct.
Good. Well, thanks for the answers. Appreciate it.
And
good luck.
It's a long answer. I appreciate it. You know, we've been living with this and trying to get people to understand, hey, it's necessary. It's something that's necessary for this, for the financial world. So many errors are being made, both unintentionally and maliciously. and is preventing those. It's tamper proof. You send it out to your divisions to put in their numbers, they can't change it to make themselves look good. Okay. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Other questions for Nicholas? Looks like maybe we did it. Good job, Nicholas. Thank you.
Well, thank
Pretty
you.
much.
Thank you.
And presenters, I'll try and get the information out this afternoon or tomorrow morning for next Monday's meeting with the Orange County group. Amanda and Rick, are you ready to go?